What's up, cool people? How's everybody doing today? My name's Matt, aka That Random Christian Gamer. For those of you who don't know, I'm a random Christian guy playing random games, trying to connect with random people and help answer their random questions. Could be about God, the Bible, faith, anything like that, or anything else that's on your minds. I can't claim to know all the answers, but I will answer to the best of my ability. Now, I'm hoping whatever's going on with Twitch that has me not seeing it in my stream preview is just a me thing, and that it's actually live. I'm not sure what's going on there. But, no matter, let me just try refreshing that page and see if that helps. In any case, the general gist of today's live stream is going to be, I'm gonna call this another entry in my rinse and review series, where essentially I'm doing a bit of a game review, and then afterwards just kind of chilling, hanging out, engaging with chat, all that kind of stuff. During that later portion, I will be playing PowerWash Simulator. If anybody else has the game and wants to join in, let me know, and I'll try to work it out. But, yeah, otherwise, we'll just talk about whatever's on our minds. So anyway, that's the general gist of what's going on here. Alright, let me go ahead, run the early Twitch ad break. Oh, before I do, though, also, totally random note, just something that's going on for me. I ordered a new laptop recently. It came earlier than I expected, but I'm also kind of in the process of like factory resetting my old laptop so that whatever I end up doing with it, it's you know, not going to end up with me practically handing someone personal data or information on me. So anyway, but that's a totally separate thing that I have going on that does not affect this at all. Although the new laptop should maybe affect my ability to do my actual job that earns me money and be able to take that on the road and, you know, maybe do it a little more in some places where I otherwise couldn't with a laptop that was slower than molasses before, to be honest. Anyway. Okay. Running early Twitch ad break. Then I'll load up Kingdom Hearts and we'll get to the review portion of the stream today. And since I'm about to transition to that, and the game will have its own music that I do not want to be interrupting or disrupting in any way, I'm just going to go ahead and bring that on down and out of the mix. And then we'll move on over to here. So, I've already played all the way through this game recently. If you didn't see any of that stuff, stream VODs, edited down episodes, all that kind of stuff is searchable on my YouTube channel. So, feel free to go check that out. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan and want to just, you know, watch somebody playing through the series who honestly hadn't touched it in a while, or definitely I had not played earlier games before number 3 in the series for quite a while. Anyway, alright. Looks like ad break is done. And So I guess I will get started with the whole review thing. Let me go ahead, hit record. Here we go. What's up, cool people? My name's Matt, aka The Random Christian Gamer, coming at you with another game review. So, today I am looking specifically at Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. This is the Final Mix, which has some slight changes compared to the original version, which was released back... Oh, geez, I forget exactly the year. I want to say sometime around 2002? On the PlayStation 2. But, in any case, I think the Final Mix does have a slight graphics update, so that's a little bit better. There's also some other things, some other aspects of gameplay that they've just added in and tweaked some things here and there from the original version. First things first, I'm gonna go to the gummy ship. At least as far as the, like, kind of main entries in the game are concerned. You know, this is something that pops up and is fairly important because it's how you travel between different places in the game. With the normal drive, show you how the gummy ship stuff works. I forgot I was using this, like, majorly beefed up version of the ship that doesn't even have, like, regular cannons or anything. So, there is some, you know, ship customization for this part of the game, which is nice. The way it works is a little bit... the way the customization works, I should say, is a little bit clunky, though, if I'm honest. Oh, jeez. Am I just completely out of ammo of all types now? Seems like I am. Leaves me in a bit of a pickle. That is something to take note of, though. Like, if you're not careful, you can very much get yourself in trouble here. Totally just realized I was covering up the, like, health bar of the ship and other things like that. Okay, real quick, now that I've showed a little bit of that, gonna quick go to the garage here. So yeah, you can customize your ship in pretty much any way that you want, as long as you have the blocks for it. But at the same time, the layout of it is, like I said before, a little bit clunky. Like, the interface for customizing things is... yeah, just... it's not especially intuitive, if you ask me. Like, especially this part right here. Pressing up and down, like, moves you forward and backward, which is really weird if you're at an angle like this. To actually move up and down on the ship, you need to use, like, the left bumper or trigger. So, anyway, just kind of a slight... knock on that aspect of the game. Give that like a 7 out of 10, maybe. Anyway, now I'm actually going to warp somewhere and just go ahead and show you the main part of the gameplay. I guess, on the whole, genre-wise, this might be considered like an action RPG. I don't know, so there's definitely RPG like leveling elements and things like that. But the combat is more like what I would have thought of as like a hack and slash, if you're familiar with that genre at all. Things like God of War, Devil May Cry, those types of games. This is just generally a more family-friendly option in that style. Now, what I will not be showing here, because I've already been all the way through the story, is any plot elements, really, because that is one of the things that this series as a whole is kind of known for, even if it's not always in the most positive light. Plot can get a little convoluted in some of the games, but this game it is definitely not. This is kind of your, you know, introduction to the series, so obviously they got to keep things a little simpler, just so you get to know the characters and be able to understand what's going on with them. Now this, like, you know, combat stuff for the most part is a solid experience, though. My main gripe relates to the shortcuts here. First off, later games in the series give you 4 shortcuts. This only gives you 3. And the later games will also generally allow you to put items in the shortcut list. This one only does magic. So you have to, like, awkwardly go down here to the items and use them like that. I mean, it's still better than having to open up like an entire pause menu worth of stuff, but at the same time, it's like, well, you can't... First of all, if I try and pause right now, it doesn't give me any pause menu. So, there's no other way to use items mid-combat. Yeah, certain things like that are a little less than ideal, but they're not terrible either. There's plenty of stuff to go around and collect, a lot of which can be used to create more powerful items. Oh, and then you get some enemies like these that are sort of unique in how you deal with them. This is like the most simple of all those cases. Some of them, especially in the Final Mix version here, are really odd how you're supposed to handle them. And the trouble with that then is, for the Final Mix version specifically, those more unique enemies that have odd ways to deal with them, like, you have to engage with those enemies and defeat them in that specific way to get some of the items needed, or, yeah, to get some of the, like, materials needed to craft some of the items. Let me go ahead, hop in the gummy ship again. We're gonna go somewhere else so that you can see what I'm talking about with, like, the item crafting stuff. But yeah, having those very unique enemies that need to be handled in very odd ways that I guarantee you very few people would think of unless they looked up a guide. I can't say I like that change. And that's just a Final Mix thing. That was not like that in the original. So, like, if I go up here and talk to this Moogle character here, we open up the synthesis menu. So, as you can mostly see off to the right there, there's certain materials like the Spirit Shard, Power Shard, and that kind of stuff. If you have enough of those materials, you can craft these other items that are on the left. I have already put in the time and effort into crafting everything, but especially some of this stuff that's needed for the Ultima weapon is just an absolute pain to get. Because a bunch of these materials you have to get from very specific final mix only enemies in this version. And you have to deal with them in specific ways in order to get these items. So that's a change I kind of wish they didn't make. Before, you could do stuff, you know, with just normal enemies that would appear all the time. Some of the drop rates might have been lower. So I guess there is that slight advantage to dealing with enemies that way in the Final Mix version. But, still. It was a lot easier to figure out, though, without a guide. Like this. This is one such enemy. I'm not going to try and fight it right now, but essentially what you're supposed to do with this one is, you know, dispatch multiple of them without it calling on backup, essentially. Without it calling for more of them to come help. And if you do enough of that, then you have a decent chance of getting one of the materials. But otherwise, if it notices you, forget it. But, so aside from that kind of stuff, the main other change in the Final Mix is that there are, I guess there's other abilities that you can get, especially depending on which difficulty you play on. There are also, well, there is also at least one additional boss enemy that's like super boss endgame kind of deal. Which, that change I like. But, in fact, so if I go in and look at the ability list here, some of this stuff is, I think, specific to the Final Mix. I couldn't tell you which ones offhand. And I think if you play on higher difficulty levels, there are more unique ones that will appear. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, so, you know, we've got kind of your RPG elements that you see on this screen here. You've got your main party characters, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and, oh yeah, for those who don't know, Kingdom Hearts basically take Final Fantasy and Disney and mash them together with some other, you know, original characters kind of connecting the two. Most of the places you go to throughout this game are like Disney worlds with those characters involved. Usually the Final Fantasy type characters will either just be like sort of cameo appearances, or they'll like be significant to the broader plot of the game, and they'll appear in more unique to the series places like this. Although even in the more unique to the series places like this, you still get occasionally some Disney characters and other IPs showing up. I'm not using my magic very much, because the way I have it set right now, I guess, isn't conducive to that. But anyway, so you got attack options and magic options. Very much resembling a Final Fantasy type of game, especially the magic. You got your health, which is the green bar down there, well, in the bottom right for Sora, top right for Donald and Goofy, and then the blue bar with maybe some orange there too, yellowish orange. That's the magic. So yeah, even in worlds like this, you might get appearances from, oh look, 101 Dalmatians. That is completely normal for this series. To just be like, oh hey, Disney stuff. Even when you're not in a Disney specific world. Yeah, as far as the, like, leveling up, the RPG type elements, you know, ability to choose what kind of abilities your characters have. And then even, like, there's some stat boosting items in the game that you can kind of choose a little bit how you use them. Other things like that that sort of customize the experience a little bit more. Especially early on, you have a couple of choices as to, like, character specialties, you might say. Basically either attack, defense, or magic. And here's an example of one of the Final Fantasy characters that shows up. This is supposed to be Sid. I forget from which game specifically, but there's a journal thing where you can look all that up. Characters. Maybe in here. Sid, yeah. Okay, so they're saying this version of him is specifically from Final Fantasy VII. Which has some heavy representation in this game. And really the series as a whole. But, yeah, yeah, you also have ability to customize a little bit how other people in your party, which is mostly Donald and Goofy, end up behaving throughout the battles. You cannot, like, physically control them directly, but you can at least affect their overall behavior a little bit, which is nice. You got different equipment here, like weapons and armor, basically. Or more like weapon and accessories, for the most part. And of course, each character has different ones. Most of the other characters that you can have in your party are specific to certain worlds in the game. So, like, in the deep jungle where I was before, you could have Tarzan in your party. In Halloween Town is one of the other Disney worlds in the game. When you're there, you can have Jack Skellington in your party. They usually only have one weapon option, but you could still give them different, like, accessories and stuff. In this game, for the most part, you're not so much going to want to use the other world-specific characters, other than in very specific situations, where you gotta, like, you know, use them to open up something specific. But aside from that, you pretty much want Sora, Donald, and Goofy to all be there in the party, because you get these Trinity marks that appear, and you need to have those three active in your party to do that. So, yeah, not the best game in this series as far as incentivizing you to do that. Oh yeah, you can like glide and stuff real quick in this game. Eventually. There are also shops. Really only a couple of them in particular. This one's, I guess, supposed to be the accessory shop. Not sure how I don't have one of those. But anyway. And then a little bit further, you've got an item shop. There are a few, and only a few to my knowledge, occasions where you, like, absolutely do not have the option of leaving whatever world you're in and coming back here to stock up on things. But yeah, that's the general lowdown on how the game works. Overall controls are, I would say, fairly intuitive. Although I will say they probably seem a little more intuitive on PlayStation than on Xbox. Because normally, as far as like Xbox designed games are concerned, I tend to think of A as jump. Maybe that's just because Halo, but B is jump in this game. And A is attack. You've got X here, which you can use to like dodge, roll around, or block stuff if you're standing still. Y is usually just the interact with stuff button. Not too much else. But yeah. Still, on the whole, solid game option. Also, like, there's nothing bad content-wise about this game. Technically, it gets an E10 plus rating, I think, for fantasy violence. But honestly, I'm surprised it's not rated E. Like, this is about as close as you get to towing that line. So, on the whole, pretty good, you know, family-friendly option too. Especially this one being rather simpler story-wise, easier to understand, and yeah, there's some moments that are going to take a little more thinking and maybe a little more skill with some of the bosses that appear, but otherwise it's, yeah, solid choice for, I definitely say for like ages 10 and up, which duh, E10 plus, but even like a little lower than that, I could see it being a reasonable choice. As for whether or not I think the final mix is better than the original, it's kind of a toss-up, because there are some things that are a little bit better in the final mix. I'm trying not to be too swayed by the, you know, item retrieval and how some of the materials are kind of awkward to get in this version. So honestly, I'd say they're fairly even overall. Again, I think graphics might be a little bit better, or at least like color contrast and things like that might be better in this version. Aside from that, I think I've covered pretty much everything that I have to say about the game. Combat, as I said, for the most part, pretty smooth. Controls are pretty, you know, logical and easy to understand. Intuitive was the word I was using earlier. And really, on the whole, there's not a whole lot to complain about with this game that's, like, genuinely a complaint. yes, most of the game can be kind of easy, but then you've also got a couple of things that are a little challenging, especially if you're on a higher difficulty. And then there's like extra challenge added with some like kind of super boss type fights. In fact, let me go to Olympus Coliseum, because a couple of the optional fights are there just to give you an idea of... I'm not going to fight them necessarily, but just to give you an idea of some stuff that's available. So, yeah, like, difficulty-wise, I think there's a pretty good balance. I mean, beginner mode in particular is going to be easier, and that's the point of it. That's probably what I would recommend for, you know, younger players. And or if you really just want to enjoy the story more so. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Story, solid story as well. Like, even from like a specifically Christian perspective, whether or not you're a Christian, I mean, this has a solid story. But like the light and dark, you know, plot points being a major factor in here can definitely draw some parallels. You know, parallels to Christian beliefs and stuff you'd find in the Bible and all that. I'm going to talk with Phil here real quick. So, oh, it just puts me right into this. Okay. Well, so this is one of the optional kind of sort of super bosses that you absolutely do not need to fight to get through the story. But it's the Ice Titan, which shouldn't be too surprising considering where we are. That this is an option. Why does it seem like I'm not able to block some of this stuff and deflect it back at the Ice Titan like normal? Oh well, anyway. So yeah, this stuff can be extra tough, especially if you're not prepared. That's some of the additional challenge that, you know, players who want that have options. Anyway, on the whole, solid game experience. I would say at least 8 out of 10 rating for me personally. Yeah, there's some stuff that could be a bit better. They generally tried to improve on that in later games in the series. This was the first one, though, so it's not entirely surprising that it's not, like, perfect. But again, really solid experience, and I'd even recommend it for really a variety of age groups. It's, you know, appropriate enough content-wise for, you know, younger players. And even, like, for adults, though, there might be other things that you might catch on to a little sooner with the story and or, like, gameplay elements and skills that might be even better, you know, might be easier to pick up and utilize well for, like, an adult gamer. But anyway, so yeah. Solid game choice. Highly recommend it. Most places where you'll find it now, you're probably going to find it in some sort of collection of Kingdom Hearts games. I personally am running this from the HD 1.5 and 2.5 collection thing. But especially if you have a PlayStation console, there are other options. And yeah, on the whole, I definitely recommend it. So anyway, I think that covers all my thoughts on the game. Feel free to let me know if there's some element that you think that I've missed, or any questions that you have about the game or anything like that. But I think that'll do it for this one. So, yeah. Until the next game review or whatever other video like that you might happen to watch from me, stay cool, people. Okay, but that's just for the recording purposes. Live stream viewers, do not go away, please. I might not even have that end section. I might want to do like a specific outro bit that's a little more normal for my YouTube channel videos and such. Anywho, okay. But I'm done with that now. The review part is done. Now we go to the rinse part of the stream title. Which means I should adjust the stream information here. At least on Twitch. PowerWash Simulator, there we go. And I might want to move my webcam back down to this corner. Alright. This is where we pretty much just chill and chat. Unless one of y'all has PowerWash Simulator and would like to potentially join me. I hear it's cross-platform, so there should be a way to figure that out. I think I have pretty much caught up to where I was before I, like, basically reset the game and had to redo all the progress. I can't remember if I did the treehouse before or not. I know I didn't do the washroom before. So yeah, Whew, geez, this looks like a long one, but treehouse it is, I guess. Oh, I could go into the shop and buy the top tier power washer, but I wouldn't be able to get any of the other stuff for it, like the nozzle or extensions or anything like that. No turbo nozzle, no extensions, no soap nozzle, none of that stuff. But maybe after this job, I'll be able to afford some of that. Alright, if anybody was holding back on engaging in chat while I was doing the Kingdom Hearts review thing, feel free to not hold back now. Because I am not at all focused. This is just me chilling. Warning, private property. I would hope that I am still welcome here, because they did, like, hire me to do this job. No visitors. I'm not a visitor if I'm, you know, working for you in a way, right? Why is this sign not clean yet? Ah. There we go. More signs. Stay out. Friendly bunch, these folks. Very welcoming. Keep away. How many different ways do you feel the need to say? Camera. Hello. Anyway. I wonder if I would get something for... Didn't realize I could make it spin. I thought if anything I was gonna like knock it over. But nope. Cannot knock it over. So I feel like I'm gonna mostly start with stuff on the ground level. Just so then hopefully once I start going up higher and doing other things, I will not have to, like, come back down to know that I have finished stuff. Tire swing. So far, all the tires we've cleaned in this game have actually been attached to vehicles. Oh, geez, you want me to get, like, inside the swing, too? Okay. And then there's under it. And on top of it, probably... Does the rope count as part of the swing, too? Maybe. Okay. Tire swing is good. Okay, so there is some dirt kind of on the inside of this border. That I need to get. There we go, okay. Woohoo, we're 1% done with this job. They said it was a playground border as I was, you know, cleaning the outer edges of this section. It's an interesting playground. I mean, I've definitely seen some with tire swings and stuff like this. But, you know, there's usually also other things. Is that... There are multiple cameras. Interesting. Okay, the stumps that those are sitting on do not count as separate items to be cleaned. Gotcha. Aside from that, is there anything else, like, off in the distance that needs to be cleaned? No, these are just, like, paths. What's this paper over here? I can't see it very well. Oh well. Yeah, no, it seems like otherwise it's just going to be the main portion of it now. Which, woohoo. Sure, this is going to be loads of fun. Hey, you know what? It should, at the very least, be generally relaxing. Because, like, there's no stress in this game. It's not like you're under a time limit. Unless you're doing a specific, like, time trial mode thing. We'll just take this one step at a time. Sometimes literal steps. figure I'll start off with the steps. Although I might not be able to get all the steps without working my way up higher, which I don't want to do yet, because I'd rather clean the underside of all the things first. But anyway. Okay, well that's cool. Why didn't this say it was clean? There we go. I'm like, that's pretty much the same part of a thing that I cleaned on the other side. Why was it not considered clean on the other side? Alright. Now I wonder if it's counting the entire underside here as one whole unit or not. Doesn't look like it. Seems like each sort of separation there, it's counting as an individual area, section, thing to be cleaned. And I would assume that these wooden planks separating the different sections, yep, also count as their own thing. Or own things, plural. This is so confusing, having to clean everything from this perspective. Oh. I don't know if I need to, per se, it just... You would think that's the most normal perspective. You know, trying to clean underneath something, you think you'd be looking up, for the most part. But if you do a straight-on upward angle, it's like, then sometimes looking left and right doesn't quite adjust your viewing angle the way you think it will. Or at least, for me, it doesn't seem to do it the way that I think it would. Speaking of wood, there is a lot of it in this place, but I suppose that shouldn't be surprising. You know, being like a treehouse type setup and all. You know, that's something I just realized. I mean, it makes sense for it to be like this, but basically every treehouse is made of wood. I don't think I have ever heard of a treehouse being made of anything other than wood. If you have, let me know. I guess I could see there being some, like, really cheaply made plastic treehouse imitations for, like, you know, little kids. kind of in the same way that you get those, like, little kid sandboxes and other things like that. Okay, so far I am not missing any parts of the underside here, and I'm also realizing the entire underside is not counting as affecting the top thus far. Okay, what am I missing on... How is that one not fully clean? I thought for sure I got the ding. Thought for sure I got the approval ding on this joist here, as they're calling it. Which, I suppose that's an accurate term. It's just not one that you hear used a whole lot outside of, like, construction. So I realized to some effect, I titled some of these streams Rinse and Review, which could be a little misleading as to the order in which I do things in these streams. I just figured I was, you know, doing a little wordplay off of the phrase rinse and repeat. Even though, with what I'm doing here, usually the reviewing comes first and the rinsing comes second. See, this is why it doesn't generally work so well when I attempt to be clever. Well, okay. Not like that's the only reason why, or anything like that. Itchy nose. So I would bet you these outer joists need to be cleaned on the inside as well. Like, pretty much requiring me to go up to the top. Or the upper level at which they also, you know, border. Upper level of which they also border, I guess, would be the more proper English grammar there. Gotta get all these planks come out here. Now, I have seen some scaffolding at this job site. I'm not 100% sure yet why, well, if or why that would end up being necessary. I generally hope I don't have to use scaffolding. But, you know, if I must, I must. I'm not going to sit here and bemoan the situation for making me do that. Okay. I think it might be about time to whip out an extension for this. If I want to keep getting the undersides of things. Let's go with the middle extension. Not only stepping up to the short one, but also not going all the way up to the long one just yet. So, anyone who feels like sharing, how are we doing today? For me, I would say I'm generally pretty good. Again, got that new laptop situation in the works. I did, like, just get it yesterday. And, like, a little bit later in the day yesterday, so I haven't actually had time, well, haven't had the time, let me restart that sentence. I haven't had the combination of time and motivation as of yet to, you know, boot that up and go through the initial startup process with it. Now, I should perhaps acknowledge, as much as I've been, like, bashing on my old laptop and how slow it's been and all that kind of stuff, like, I'm not gonna assume everything that brand makes is of the same quality. Because, okay, so it was an Asus laptop. And, like, the thing is, there's a component or two in my, you know, main desktop PC that is from the same brand. And, I mean, I've had very few really significant issues with this computer the whole time I've had it. All of, like, I'm thinking 8 years-ish? Right around 8 years? Something like that. So yeah, like, one product, in my view, should not make or break a brand. Alright, might want to bust out the extra long extension now. Of course, this is also at the point where I'm not even as sure how, like, thoroughly I'm getting all the little details on a bunch of this stuff that I'm washing now. At least not without using the dirt finder button. But I mean, it seems like it's doing generally alright. Not a whole lot that I can get from this side without going up further. This side's a little easier to get. Less stuff in the way. Of course, I could just get it from the upper level there. Wow, okay, this actually isn't going too poorly on the whole. Like, pleasantly surprised that I'm at 19% cleared. But some of this underside stuff is not going to be easy to get from the ground floor. But you know what? That's okay. Whatever's difficult to get from the ground floor, that's what I will get once I'm up higher. Oh. Are these people supposed to be like Bigfoot trackers? That would totally make sense for this setup here. Alright, as of this moment, I'm mostly gonna focus on the actual, like, underside sections, not so much on the joists. Although, if I happen to end up cleaning a joist in the midst of doing these underside sections, I will not argue with that. See, now because of the angle I'm trying to take with this, it's generally leaving me kind of missing some stuff without changing my angle entirely. And, like, going to the other side of a certain joist. So, okay. That's a thing. Maybe I am better off, cleaning it like this. It's just sometimes when you're viewing at this sort of angle, the left and right can be sort of awkward. Well, okay. Maybe doing it from that kind of angle isn't as helpful as I hoped it would be. Of course, this scaffolding being right here doesn't help me much with what I'm trying to do. And there's more scaffolding that's basically just in my way. Kind of odd places y'all put this scaffolding. Hang on. Although I imagine the idea was to use the scaffolding to wash some of these underside panels. Maybe that's how the actual owners of the place who hired me out generally attempt to do it. Okay. This section around this tree here is a little awkward. I think pretty much any of them that are around part of a tree are going to be awkward like that. But hey, whatever. No big deal. As long as I know what I'm doing. Alright, what about this section here is not clean? There we go. Okay. Teeny tiny underside section right there. Okay. Can I get that one reasonably from the ground level? Yes. Wasn't sure I'd be able to get the whole thing. Oh, come on, what about this one is still dirty? Oh, there's like that tiny little section maybe that's... What is not clean about this underside here? I don't even see any dirt showing on it. Weird. Very weird. There we go. Okay. Hopefully the rest of these will go a bit smoother. See, I keep wanting to use left and right to, like, just, you know, shift where I'm looking in those directions, not, like, rotate my view that way. But when I'm looking so far up, or at such an upward angle, the game wants to use the left and right camera adjustments as, like, rotation instead of, you know, shifting. Alright. Still, on the whole, doing pretty good so far, I'd say. We're at 34% complete, and it's been about half an hour of working on this job. So far, I wouldn't consider this to be any worse than, like, the mini golf course. Of course, the mini golf course didn't pay as much, I think, because it's a bonus job rather than one of, like, the main story campaign ones. You see, now all these underside sections I'm going to have to get to an upper level first before I can completely clean them. Probably. Same goes with the joists that are part of this broader area in this job. Oh, well, that one it called clean. What's the problem with the others? You know what? Not a big deal. I can handle that later. I would not be surprised if I end up missing some of the joists anyway, but meh. We'll give it a whirl, see what I can do about them while I'm down here. And then after these, I think it's pretty much just going to be another set of steps before I then vacate the ground level and start cleaning stuff that's up higher. I think right now my plan is just to focus on this side of these joists. Then once I get to the end here, turn myself around like this, get this side of these joists. So far so good, but after the next few, I'm thinking it's probably not gonna say that they're done. Oh, okay. I guess if they have a little bit of an edge hanging out, it also counts that. Yeah, this is where I'm gonna stop being able to get these ones 100% clean. Oh, hey, sweet, I got the big center joist thing there. Is that one still considered a joist? I would think so. It's the same general, like, part of a broader structure. It's just a bigger one that goes a different direction. Yep. Okay. The rim joist is a whole separate thing, I guess. Yeah. And it probably wraps all the way around the perimeter of this. Like this level of the treehouse. Means it's also probably not going to be 100% done until I get the outer part of it. Okay. Now for this set of joists. And I'll just do them all from this side for now. And then once I get to the end, turn back around, get the other side of these ones, like I did with the set of joists before. Shouldn't need to worry much about the middle one anymore. Well, shouldn't need to worry at all about the middle one anymore, because that one it said was clean already. Yeah, by the way, for anyone who might have been here for Thursday's stream, or even if you weren't, that couple hours of Fall Guys I wound up playing Thursday morning seems like it helped a little bit, at least with not looking like a noob relative to the other people I was playing with yesterday. Alright. Where is there still dirt on that joist? Yay for dirt finder button. Okay. That. Stuff I'm getting at this exact moment has lessened the rate of overall completion. But hey, it needs to be done. If I don't do it now, I'm just gonna have to do it later. Might as well try and get everything I can from the ground floor while I'm still on the ground floor. Scaffolding, why must you constantly be in my way? In fact, I'm probably going to want to move this one too. Like, way over here. Oh, jeez. No, okay, that's the staircase I just haven't gotten to yet. For a second I thought, wait, is there a whole nother staircase that I wasn't even accounting for? But no. Missing link fact. They're sometimes called Bigfoot because they're one big foot, kind of like a bear's. Okay, that... Way to not give me enough time to read that. Technically, though, I could, I think, from the pause menu, go over here where it says messages, and yeah. The other one's small like a cat's. I found track evidence of this myself. So they're saying Bigfoot has one foot that's big, but another one that's small. Is that somebody trying to explain why it's called Bigfoot instead of Big Feet? I mean, if so, that is quite the focus on semantics there. But I can't necessarily say I faulted too much. It's Especially nowadays, people seem to really harp on semantics in some situations. Okay. I think now I'm just kind of redoing a bunch of stuff that I already did before. So, let's move ourselves over here. Oh, wait. We got this stuff to get. Okay, I think that's all of that I'm getting from the ground level. Now for the staircase. And this one's a spiral. Which... if the people, you know, residing here built this whole treehouse structure themselves, their handiwork is quite impressive. Being able to get the wood to curve like that isn't the easiest thing to do. Okay, whatever. I can touch up some of the, like, lower level stuff a bit later. When I'm not using the, like, extra long extension here. For now, I want to focus on the underside of these steps. So that's the part I'm gonna have to get from the ground. Okay. 45% done. Not too shabby. And it still hasn't been... it's been, what, 50 minutes, I guess, maybe? That I've been working on this? Still on the whole. Getting through this at about a 1% per minute rate. Which, yes, is slower than most jobs in this game. But... not too bad. Okay. No more extra long extension. And no more stuff that I'm going to attempt to clean from the ground level, I think. It is time we rise. But I think I might actually start from this staircase. So, okay, thought that I just had. Minor, like, you know, linguistic quirk kind of thought. So you've got the words steps and stairs that can mean similar things, although steps is like kind of a collection of, you know, multiple things that you would step on, I guess. There's also the other definition of steps, as in, like, parts of a process to complete a task. But anyway, I digress. So you've got steps and you've got stairs that can sometimes be used to mean a similar thing. What you do not have, however, to my understanding, in the English language, is the step word equivalent of staircase. There's no, like, step case word. Alright, so how much of the lower deck railing does it count as one piece here? Right now, if I had to, you know, place a wager on it or anything, I'd bet the portion of it that's all, like, you know, connected together. So, like, basically over to this tree. There we go, yeah. And we have a grill up here. Or a barbecue setup. Which, that's another kind of linguistic question. Is there technically a definition between, you know, a tool thing like this that would be called a barbecue versus one that would be called a grill? Oh, Samus, hello. How are you today? Hope I wasn't missing your comment there for too long. Did get a little focused in there. Also didn't help that I was trying to concentrate on those random linguistic questions that were crossing my mind. It's funny how much of that has happened as I've played this game. Doing well, grilling stuff yourself, making burgers, nice. Yeah, suppose that's something maybe I should consider investing in, is, you know, at least a small grill of my own. Now, maybe the issue that I had before with trying to do it inside is no longer an issue. Early on when I moved into this apartment, just the smoke detector was really sensitive. Turns out, maybe it was starting to go bad, because it was getting set off just a few months ago for basically no reason. So it got replaced recently. I mentioned the issue to my landlord, and he just, after a bit of back and forth, got it replaced. So now maybe the issue of an oversensitive smoke detector is no more. But anyway, so Samus is making burgers. What do you put on your burgers generally, Samus? For me, I guess it depends widely on what's available at the time. Salt, okay. Like, as you're cooking them, you put salt on. I was thinking more so after the cooking process is done, do you put, like, I don't know, ketchup, mustard, pickles, tomatoes, anything like that. Most of the time I will do ketchup myself. I think, you know, with all of the fairly common options being available, I would probably end up doing, like, ketchup, some lettuce, tomato, and probably leave it at that. And cheese, obviously, but that's a whole different thing. Mustard sometimes, no bun, can't have pickles or tomatoes. Gotcha, okay. Now, is the no bun, like, for dietary reasons, or just not wanting carbs, or, if you don't mind saying, not trying to pry too much, but for me, I will pretty much always go with a bun. Both? Gotcha. Yeah, there's somebody who is also on the, like, technical production team at church, you know, that I end up volunteering alongside. She's more so the latter case, just not wanting to do carbs. That's why she has stopped partaking in the typical morning donuts that are served to the band and production team. In fact, she, at least sometimes also, because they do, like, kind of pig in a blanket things, or, you know, like, basically hot dogs in some sort of bread. And she would even go as far as to, like, if she was taking one of those, remove the bread from it, and then often give it to me. The bread part. I'm not sure at this point how much of this stuff on some of these surfaces is more rust or more dirt. I'm going to get way down low on this thing, though. Okay, the base is clean. Still got to get the drum fully cleaned off. That's... okay, that's also part of the drum. Sometimes I'm not totally sure until I closely inspect it what all this game counts as part of which piece. Does rust mean a different nozzle? So, there's a couple of different ways to clean rust in this game. Because I'm stubborn and don't want to spend money on cleaning liquids, I go with, like, the turbo nozzle here. However, there are also soaps that can be used, which are for all sorts of different purposes. You've got glass, metal, plastic, stone, yeah, just all sorts of different cleaning solutions that are other ways of making it easier to clean certain things. Rust in particular would be among those. That's when you'd use the metal cleaner and, you know, make that notably easier. But like I said, I'm stubborn and don't want to spend money on that stuff in the game. Especially when I have the option of basically doing it with the turbo nozzle. Does it take longer? Yes. But I don't have to spend money to use the turbo nozzle, other than initially unlocking the nozzle. Alright, there's something else on this table that's not clean yet. What is it? I'm pressing the button that highlights the dirt like that, as you can see. But I'm not seeing what remains dirty on this particular object. Well, and right now I'm saving up for all the different extensions and pieces of the, like, highest powered power washer equipment in the game. Which I've unlocked the, like, the main piece of it, but not the other extensions. Hold up, was I using the Prime Vista 3000 that whole time? I want to use this one. This one's better, I think. Maybe, maybe not. There might be some slight differences. Prime Vista 3000 seems to have a higher rating on multiple things, so maybe not. I don't know. I'll stick with this. I've been using it so far. Okay. So, that's all done. That's all done. Table's done, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Is there any of these? Well. I don't need to sweat the details, because eventually, once I get close to the end, I can look at my list here and see what details I've missed. At least, you know, which items I have missed some minor details on. There we go. Now, I could be, like, super picky about all this. Do it maybe closer to how I would try to do it in real life, where I'm not actively stepping in dirt. But also, this is completely off from how I would try to do it in real life anyway, because I would start up high in real life and move down low from there. That's general rule of thumb on cleaning things. Oh, hold up. I almost forgot a bunch of this stuff. Glad I looked back a little bit. I would have just totally blown past all this stuff. And then found out later that I missed it all and been like, darn it. This. Okay, that is clean. How's my day so far? Generally pretty good. I'd say on the whole I've had a pretty good week, really. Let's see here. Different things to talk about. Well, okay, I got a new laptop because my old one was being super slow and not practical for trying to potentially take my work on the road anywhere. I actually wasn't expecting to get the new laptop in until the 24th, but it came in yesterday. So that's a good thing. Other stuff I've done this week, let's see. So just yesterday, I was collabing a bit with Christian Ninja. I don't know if you know this, Samus, but I actually have... There's like a second channel that I kind of am like a co-host slash co-founder or whatever of, that's like just purely collabs all the time. There's always at least two of us in every video for that one. So yeah, did a recording session with him and my other usual co-host yesterday, playing some Fall Guys. That was fun. How'd it go? Yeah, it was good. He, you know, especially early on, we made sure to give him some time and space to, you know, plug his stuff, talk about Taco and his book and other things like that he does. And then otherwise it was just having fun playing Fall Guys. None of us are especially good at it, but you know, we did get a win out of a total of 2 hours playing. Those videos are not going to be made public, though, for probably, like, I think July 31st is when the first one of those is going to come out. Yeah, otherwise it's been a fairly typical week. Work stuff for me has gone pretty well too. I had some kind of higher paying projects come across my board, so you know, I set kind of sort of a weekly goal amount for myself, and I managed to get that by like noon today, even with doing some other things on earlier days in the week, so that went pretty well too. You know, just overall, lots of pretty good stuff happening. So other than cooking burgers today, what you been up to this week, Samus? Oh, geez, okay. We've got our typical stool and ladder all the way up here. There's like an entire small house to clean on top of all this, you know, like railing and wooden treehouse elevation stuff. Played session 1 of a D&D campaign. Nice. Yeah. From experience. Can confirm. Often fun. You, portraying a different type of character in this one, or less so, or I guess more like, you know, your Shards of Atlantis character, Cammy, I think was the character name, if I remember right. Yeah, that's right. If I move the ladder somewhere, I have to actually, like, place it on something. That's my main gripe about this game, is that I can't just pick up the ladder and, like, plop it down somewhere. I have to actually set it up against something once I pick it up off the floor or the ground or whatever. Halfling Divine Soul Sorcerer. Yeah, I guess there's slightly more specific character classes and things like that with D&D in particular. Everyone else is old, so we're joking that you're the nurse. Okay. You know, gotta find some sort of, like, canon reason for everyone in the group to be there. Divine Soul gives me access to cleric spells. Okay. So, being the healer, that makes some sense, I guess, as well, in that regard, to refer to you as, like, the nurse of the group. I personally would end up hesitating to use such a label in that situation just because I, like, don't want to be overly stereotypical, I guess, or, like, presumptive. But that's just me being, like, you know, awkward, overthinking introvert type person. But yeah, especially if your character is like that, you know, with healing abilities and whatnot, understandable. So now, the breakdown of the character description there, though, does have me wondering, can one have the, like, Divine Soul, I don't know, characteristic, descriptor, whatever thing, and not be a sorcerer? I guess I could see something like a paladin, you know, having some, like, protective magic that would do stuff along those lines. Setting's kind of fun, like Fallout. Some magical equivalent to a nuclear bomb change stuff. Okay. So I, admittedly haven't played a whole lot of actual D&D. Had some friends try and start up a campaign back in our college years, but quickly fell apart when we had to go back to college and split ways for months at a time. Divine Soul is specific to Sorcerer, but there might be... Okay. Yeah, I guess... Trying to remember... So, there's... you get a race, which in your case was the Halfling. As far as I can remember, that's sort of Hobbit-like. And then you've got your class, which in your case is probably the Sorcerer. But then you've got, kind of specializations, I guess, maybe within your class, which I would assume is where the Divine Soul part comes in. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's just what I think I recall. Sorcerers get an Origin of Sorts, which is the Divine Soul part, kind of like how a Warlock has different patrons. Okay. Not sure if it counts as a focus. Alright. See, all this has me wondering, if/when Shards of Atlantis might pick back up again. My understanding of things, though, is that, Arcone has gotten kind of busy. But I don't think it's, completely off the table. Okay, this ladder needs to move somewhere else for a little bit. There we go. And all sorts of stuff clean now. Oh, jeez. I might need the ladder back. Or, where'd I put my stool? Stool! Come here. There we go, okay. I think I've basically gotten all of that stuff. Oof. This, though, underneath here. There we go. Okay. Nope, wrong button. I'll just place that there now. Door frame is not done. What is dirty on... Well, okay, the door itself needs a little work too, so... Ah, maybe that's what's wrong with the door frame. I gotta get, the inner ledge. Yep, there we go. Door itself. There we go. I guess since it counted the handles as part of the door this time. Doesn't always do that, though. Sometimes the handles are a separate object from the rest of the door in this game, which the inconsistency can be a bit odd. But oh well. And now I go back to focusing mainly on the floor. Because man, I don't know what it is about this game in particular, but this game seems to, like, make my brain just go in all sorts of different directions all throughout the process of cleaning things. Like, more than most other games that I've played, this one, I seem to have some difficulties staying focused on the same, like, section of the task. Consumed by him, hello. Yeah, technically my account, channel name, and all that is That Random Christian Gamer, but it's minor differences when just talking about stuff. Anyway, I hope you're doing well also. Samus, video game equivalent to thinking in the shower. I guess, maybe. There's even running water, too. Hashtag power thoughts? Because PowerWash Simulator? No, that's... why? Why does my brain do things like that? That's, like, not a good joke, but those, like, are the majority of jokes that I make. Plus, as you play this game, if you really pay attention to what some of the characters say to our main character here, one of them says, you know, actually you should call yourself a pressure washer, not a power washer. Power washing means that you use hot water. And yes, that was me putting on my, like, actually kind of voice. Just got home from work and saw. I appreciate you stopping by, consumed by him. I think I've been in and out of a couple of your streams over the past week. I don't know. I have enough people that I follow that I'm not super consistent on just one channel or another anymore. Most of the time I'm just trying to lurk on whoever I follow that currently has the lowest viewer count. We have a stretch redemption. Okay. Pausing the game for a moment to get up and do that stretching. You know what? You didn't redeem a hydrate, but I'm a little thirsty, so I'll do that too. Okay. Hold up, let me shift over to this scene. Maybe you'll see more of the getting up and stretching. Okay. This is when I kind of sort of wish I had a standing desk so I could, like, just lift it all up. But anyway, a good way to decide who to lurk. I mean, the awkward part comes in when it's a tie on who has lowest viewership at the moment. Okay. Stretching a little bit. Get my legs moving some. This is why I gotta make sure to be fully clothed when I stream. Can't be doing one of those, like, you know, interview or, like, you know, Zoom meeting kind of things where you're, like, sitting there in your underwear or whatever. Can't, no. Anyway, okay. I hope that's enough getting up and moving around. I feel a little better after that. Okay. Yeah, especially if I'm gonna have a stretch redemption like that in there. Gotta be prepared for that to come up. Alright. Got some things to do around the house. Hope that all goes well for you. I know sometimes that stuff can be a bit tedious, but it's got to get done. Oh geez, there's a bunch of stuff on top of the railing here that I've been missing this whole time. Not recommended. Do not try this at home. Like, walking on top of the railing here while trying to clean it. But, you know, video game logic. Trying to finish up the railing here. Now that I'm like the vast majority of the way done with it. There we go, okay. Alright, back to the floor. And more railing. But general progress on both now. I guess once I get done with this overall platform and the house and all that, then it should hopefully just be the spiral staircase on the way down over here. And then I'll pretty much be done with this job in the game. This is definitely one of the longer jobs. For sure. The only one I've had so far that was comparable, I would say, was the mini golf course. Which had 9 holes with different things going on there. Slightly different objects and obstacles, all within like a kind of medieval castle theme. Alright. Floor should be very close to done. There we go. That was a slightly generous moment from the game there, I'd say. And ads are up. Okay, so... Oh, geez. There's a bunch of little bits of this railing that I haven't gotten. Especially by this tree here. Tell you what, extension. Yeah. Actually, I was probably supposed to get that from down lower. Oh well. Oh yeah, there's definitely some of this I should get from down lower. Whoop. Good thing there's no fall damage. Actually, there's no damage at all in this game, period. That is not... No. Damage is just not something that happens in this game. Owl, hello! How are you on this... Well, I would say on this fine day. I don't know how fine it's been for you off... You know, without further information. So, anyway, how are you? Hold on, ads. Oh. I guess maybe from just joining the stream, that might be the case. Because otherwise I was just like, wait, I thought ads just ran. Alrighty. Back from ads. Actually, just after midnight there. Yeah. I imagine been enjoyable with the, like, relative quiet and calm. But anyway, for me, I've been doing pretty good. Just mostly normal stuff. Although, had a few notable things happen throughout the week. Got a new laptop, because old one was being really slow, and thought I might sometimes want to take work on the road. Have yet to set up the new laptop, but I have it. It is in my possession. And then did some extra collab channel stuff, which was fun. We played some Fall Guys. That was kind of what I was quote-unquote practicing for with the stream I did a couple days ago. And, otherwise, pretty normal for me personally, which, generally speaking, is a good thing. Pretty easygoing, lacking stress. Owl, while you're here, I figure after I get this done, I might move on to the next Tomb Raider DLC job in this game. I was kind of sort of waiting for you as much as I could to move along with that. Oh, and by the way, the progress that I had lost, I've basically gotten back through to where I was. So, no issues there anymore after like 2 weeks to get back to the same point. It's actually my birthday last Sunday. You mentioned, I think, last week that it was going to be your birthday soon. I honestly wouldn't have remembered the exact day offhand, but you did mention it, to some effect. Honestly, this whole week I've been so forgetful. Slight bit of family drama aside. It's never fun when there's, like, family issues of any kind going on. Yeah, geez, have I been missing that a little bit on... Yeah. Are there any others like that with Windows? Yes. So I was probably missing that on, like, all of those. Oh, hello. Well, that's a slightly different thing. But yeah, definitely good that birthday stuff went well, though. That would be extra bothersome if that, in particular, got bogged down with, like, family drama or other things of that nature. Dolls are great. Added a new member. Got it as a birthday present. Nice. So, you say final. So does that mean you've got, like, that whole set now? Or was there, like, some other kind of collection group that you were aiming for? Drama wasn't huge. More like a toxic family member that goes out of his way to... tried to turn up, but... Okay. Yeah, in a moment like that, it might be a better idea to just sort of tune those kinds of things out. Not let them spoil the fun. Talked about the doll family in Jade's chat. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Using dolls from various Barbie lines. I don't recall hearing some... If you did, I think it was maybe only mentioned once, and it would have been a while ago, but... anyway. Still. Collecting things is nice and fun. Sometimes. And especially for something like that, getting a whole, like, family or group setup in particular. Another doll too, a Ryan Gosling Ken doll. Right, yeah, I do remember you mentioning that you liked Ken in the Barbie movie. Is it? Ah, there we go. Eventually, I will need to actually get on top of this house. Not a doll hoarder. Not gonna have like a million, you know, set them out. Gave them names, personalities, and stuff. So, bit similar maybe to some of your Sims setups, except, you know, actual real world stuff that costs money, so with limits. Actually, before I focus on the roof, I probably want to get, like, all this stuff. It seems to be counting all of these as, like, one unit. Didn't realize I was missing anything on that post there, but glad I got it. Yeah, if there's anything I'm collecting these days, honestly, it's probably cards for Magic the Gathering. Been going to the local card shop on Friday nights and playing a few rounds there. And now that I'm back in that, probably as some of the new sets release, I'll end up buying more cards from those. Ryan Gosling's Kim's hands down the best part. Still honestly haven't seen it myself. Not that I have anything against that movie in particular. I honestly just haven't even been to a theater to see any movies in, like, years. Because most of the time, if I'm going to be, you know, spending free time on things that I enjoy, it's mostly going to be video games. Now, if I have, you know, a group of friends going to the movies, then yeah, sure, I'll go with them. But that is another part of the reason I haven't gone in a while. Just haven't had a friend group push me to go. Or anything like that. Alright, this is like the one part of this whole thing that actually makes sense for me to be on top of while I'm cleaning it. Like, even just from a real-world logic standpoint. Yeah, it didn't go to the theater either. Bought it on Blu-ray when it came out. I do like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn in the first Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. Didn't like her character in the movie, in the Barbie movie. It looks like there's some rust I'm going to have to clean off of this eventually. I prefer cleaning the floor, walls, or ceilings in this game. I don't know if I have much of a stated preference. I will say definitely not roofs. Because a lot of times cleaning the roofs, you're having to look down to get certain things, and like the game makes you move slow and kind of awkward when you're looking down, and especially when you're on rooftops. Sometimes it'll like almost invisible wall a ceiling on top of you. But if I had to pick a favorite type of surface to clean, I'd probably just generally go with walls. They're like kind of the most straightforward and even like at different, you know, heights, sizes, and dimensions of various kinds, it's like there's generally not going to be too much awkwardness unless, you know, there's other stuff that's like in the way of it or part way up, like windows and other things. Although I guess the floor is also pretty satisfying and simple in that way too. So I don't know. I can't say I have a major preference. That was just me saying, like, if I had to choose. Yeah, I guess wall, because it's kind of like cleaning the floor, but not having to look down the whole time. I will say, though, floors can often be a bit easier to just, like, you know, trace around the edge and, like, kind of get into a certain pattern with it. That's when it can get into that, like, really satisfying kind of territory for me, when it's just like, alright, I'm not having to do all these, like, quick back and forth movements and things like that to make sure I don't miss anything. I can just kind of, like, trace it around and do it all like that. Okay. So the roof is clean, but the roof trim still needs a little work. And that part of the roof is done now. That's a different piece of roof trim, but I might as well just keep following it around. You can watch the part of me on Netflix or something. See, like, sometimes when I'm on a roof, I don't know why, but it'll, like, just kind of get me stuck with little explanation. Okay, now I'm gonna have to get a bunch of this rust on the roof here, though. Although I might since I'm able to get so close to it, I might be able to just kind of slowly work it back and forth with this nozzle. Ah, but what's the fun in that? Turbo time! All this rust along here. Again, this is one of those moments where if I really wanted to speed up the process, I'd get out some of the soap, just like spray that all over this surface real quick, and then probably take the previous nozzle I was using, go back over it real quick, and probably be done. But, you know, I'm stubborn and saving in-game money for, big, like, best in-game power washer extensions and accessories. Yeah. I wonder, okay, this little spike thing seems to just count as part of the roof cap in general. And that seems to generally be clean. Do I need to get underneath all of this? Maybe a little bit. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if Barbie movie was on streaming platforms already. Yeah, well, nowadays, like, movies end up on, or a lot of movies end up on streaming platforms pretty quickly. Some of them it's even like almost same time sort of thing. Although, I don't know if maybe they've recently backed off of doing that a little bit. Especially during lockdown stuff. It was like, well, okay. Theaters are much more limited capacity than normal. So we'll have like pay-per-view type stuff on the streaming services for those who can't go. Oh, this is also part of the same roof cap. Okay. Would not have guessed that. Although I guess it's kind of attached. There we go, okay. I think I've pretty much gotten any and everything associated with the roof. We're 97% done. There's still some roof trim here that's not quite... Well, okay. Yeah, if I missed that, that would make sense as to why it wasn't clean yet. This, I'm not sure what all I'm missing, though. Unless it's on the inside here, maybe? Okay. Awkward angles. Okay, yep, that must have been it. This roof trim is fine. Alright, I think I am done with the house. Cool. Moving on then to the spiral staircase. Heard someone comment that the Barbie movie did so well that Mattel has effectively become a film company. I mean, that's a similar kind of thing to why Marvel Studios exists, probably. Although, is Marvel Studios even still their own thing, or is that just now Disney Studio subsidiary thing? I don't know. I think it's still kind of its own entity, but anyway. Yeah, it's like you make a movie or something like that off of a certain intellectual property, and then suddenly it's like, oh, hey, let's do more of these. And there's so many toys that are going to get their own movie. Yeah, well, to be fair, there were also a bunch of toys that previously, like in the 80s and 90s, maybe even back in the 70s, had like their own TV shows. Just didn't seem like, just didn't seem like something that would have catered to the adults at the time very much, I'd imagine, which is why they weren't made into, more serious projects like movies. I mean, that's me kind of guessing and projecting reasons a little bit, but now I'm trying to think if Hasbro is the main company that owns Wizards of the Coast, which of course, makes or a lot of the big name, trading card games that are out there, like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon's card game, and those sorts of things. Yeah, I think Hasbro owns that. Mattel is a bit of a different story, though. Makes me wonder if Hasbro's going to try and get in the movie game, though. Or in the quote-unquote game of, making movies based on their stuff. I know most people don't pay a lot of attention to it, but Magic the Gathering actually has some interesting plot lines that could totally, at least in some cases, be given the, MCU treatment. I mean, a few years back, they based, that franchise and story and whatnot pretty much had its own Infinity War type situation going on. But I think to this point they've generally kept it in just books that either accompany or are sold separately with, the names of the different card sets kind of attached to them. Anyway. So what's up with this handrail and why is it not considered clean yet? I guess because I got a bunch of stuff like that to get. Okay. Honestly, can't really see the movies for other toys being as successful. Barbie movie, even though it was a doll, it had a message that resonated with a lot of people. Whichever side it showed that as society. Yeah. No side is better than the other. Showed how extreme. But yeah, well, although I guess you could kind of sort of count the Transformers movies as being toy-based, because they were toys first before they had movies. Now I'm really confused as to what I'm missing about the handrail here. Might have to hit it from the outside a little more. Yeah, okay. There we go. Handrail done. I'm not even sure what I have left now. Favorite characters were Ken, Asian Ken, Alan, and Weird Barbie. Okay, what do I have left to clean here? Roof trims. So there were some roof trims I was missing. Doggone it. Alright, back up the steps I go. Ah. Okay, this is one. Was this one that I... Hold up, what's even dirty about this one? Okay. I thought that was one that I did with the stool here. Was I still not up high enough to actually get that clean? I guess not. Okay, fine. I will move the ladder over. Out of extreme feminist, same nature hierarchy is best. Well, Barbie movie proved no, it isn't. Yeah, there's toxic women out there just the same as there are toxic men. Like, toxicity is not exclusive only to a particular gender or even people group in general. Vertical house trim. So it still seems to mostly be house stuff that I have been missing. Vertical house trims. Okay, this one. Done. Also got a window frame while I was at it. Cool. Vertical trim. Done. That one's done. Thought I had one more that I needed to do. Yeah. Alright, come on. Show me. Which one? Did I, like, pass it up before and completely miss it? Wait, nope. That window frame needs cleaning, but that's not one of the vertical house trims, so I don't see which one I'm missing. It's supposed to, like, glow a little bit when I have it selected like that. Oh well. Window frame is done. That's a little off topic. Deep critical thoughts you bring made me really enjoy. If everyone just agreed with everything. Alright. Vertical house trim. Oh, is it one of these ones? It's might be one of the ones that's up a little higher like that. I have not been looking very closely at those. Yep, there we go. That would explain why I wasn't finding it. Lower house walls. Oh, like... Okay. Lower walls. Which one of these? There we go. Okay, I got 3 window frames. 2 middle deck rim... okay, I'm not surprised that I missed a couple of the joists, if I'm honest. Let me get the window frames first, though. Where are those in my list? Okay. Highlight those for me, please. It's a lot of windows on this house. Okay, there's one frame. That's dirty on this frame. It's probably the inside sort of stuff. Well, maybe. There we go. Okay. Frames are done. Oh, the rim joists. Those are like the outer ones like that. Great. For context, Jade watched this video series for Games and God on Saturday. Guy in the video rubbed me the wrong way, and the videos did not strike a chord with me at all. So in the conversation, frequently challenged the subject. We had some interesting conversations. Yeah, like... as long as, you know, people can keep it respectful, like... disagreements often make the conversations more engaging, more thought-provoking. So, like, yeah. In general, I would say, you know, don't be afraid to share what you're thinking. Let's see. Okay. Now let's highlight some of these rim joists, so I can see what I'm missing. Okay, there's one. Ah, okay. There we go. That took like not even a second once I got to it. That one I'm probably gonna have to go up the steps first. It's probably the inside of it like this that's still dirty. There we go. And now there's just that one. That I will probably have to hit from down below. Or maybe I was wrong. Maybe I need to hit that from all the way up top. Alright, it's this one, right? Yep, okay. Probably don't need the extension when I'm doing it up this close, though. Still not done? There are some times when this game tells me things are not clean, and I'm like, I respectfully disagree, because you're not showing me any dirt when I look for the dirt. Definitely respectful, it's just the videos were made for Christians, knowing they were going to agree, offered almost nothing to people who aren't or are but questioning. First video we saw was supposed to be evidence of Christianity, but it was just basically a whole video of him talking about his epiphany to decide to be a Christian. Like, one's personal experience and story and how they came to Jesus isn't necessarily going to be effective for everybody. But anyway, at the time was honest. The video literally told us nothing, not in those words, but that was the general summary. Nothing beyond what people probably would have already known. Ah, there we go. Okay, now we need the middle deck rim joists. Only a tiny bit of dirt that I'm seeing on this side. Is there any... Oh, yeah. Alright, and then this one. Not 100% sure if the dirt's even on this side of it or not, but I'm gonna spray up here until either it's done or I'm convinced that the rest is down low. Oh, it's just that part. Okay. Alright, well then down I go. Pop the extension back on. Yep. There we go. And now we get the time lapse of this massive project. So when we watched them again, I brought up some thoughts that allowed the flow of conversation, allowed others to talk things out, because in those streams it was more questioning in a good way, not just blind faith. Yeah. And that's definitely a good thing to, you know, talk about. Like, okay, what does this look like from a non-Christian perspective? Does it even really say what a Christian might think that it's saying? Is it as convincing as a Christian might want to believe that it is? Most of the time, if we're honest, that answer is probably no. Frustrate myself sometimes by just going along and not analyzing it enough. Alright, so I figure we can do a little more of the, although I'm hoping the obstacle course isn't going to be too large, given that this isn't that much less, you know, earnings-wise than Croft Manor was. I can't be too sure about that, but I don't know, we'll see. Yeah. So I know social media kind of is responsible for a lot of things that aren't so great, but at the same time, like, one thing that is kind of good about it is if you let it, it's very much able to broaden your perspective on things, give you different points of view on certain topics, and if you're not just going in with an attitude of dismissal or stubbornness or anything like that, it can actually help a lot with, you know, getting you to think things you hadn't thought before. Like what Samus says, a couple people in chat actually kind of thought the same, but didn't have the words to say it. So questioning it gave them the chance to say how they felt. Yeah. And that's the thing too, right? Sometimes we have a certain way of thinking about something, but we're so used to not being, like, challenged on it or being asked about it that we don't even, like, have the words and the thoughts fully formed. Yeah, that stuff's probably rust on there, right? Where? Okay, like that. Somewhere in there, there's a little bit of dirt. But I'm not gonna get to see it by crouching down that way. Okay, so like that. Moss, grime, and sand. No? Okay. Maybe I just need to hit it from a top angle instead. Need to shake the tower of our faith. If it falls down, it wasn't really worth believing. If it, yeah. Oh man, and I had the experience of seeing a bunch of people's towers, as you're describing, shaken while I was in college. Now I went to a Christian college, mind you. Bit on the liberal side of Christian colleges, but went to a Christian college, and some of the classes that we had about, you know, the Bible and how it was formed and put together, and even just, like, different interpretations of certain scriptures and things like that. Maybe even in some cases just the overall exposure to different theological viewpoints had some of my classmates absolutely shook. But less so for me, I would say, just because I was never too much of a, like, strict... I wouldn't have considered myself particularly strict on certain faith-related issues, and or I definitely have never been too much of a biblical literalist. Now, do I believe it's possible that various things in the Bible happened exactly the way that they did? Yes. Do I believe it's absolutely crucial to the message of the gospel that every single, you know, dotted I and crossed T be exactly that way, otherwise it's not the gospel message? No. That's, like, it's too strict of a view to have to be any kind of teachable to anyone who doesn't think like you. Anyway, also same for me in that I had to shake the tower of my lack of beliefs and prejudices to realize it. And then, granted, not going to convert or anything yet. Not trying to be stubborn here, but, you know, I think if we're completely honest, there's, you know, a thought for a lot of us believers who have interactions with you, Al, that we would like to see you eventually change your mind on that and come to a faith in Jesus. Not going to be pushy about it, but if we're honest, there's always somewhat of that motivation. I had to learn that I was wrong about what I thought about Christianity was. About what I thought Christianity was. Never let myself... Yeah. Well, and especially because when you first came in, at least based on what you've told me, you know, you thought Christians were... Alright, I'm going to be brutally honest and blunt here about a certain group of people, but it seemed like you had the impression that pretty much all Christians were of the, like, typical, or stereotypical, I should say, make America great again, like, up in your face, hyper strict, let's, you know, regulate Christianity and force everybody to believe it type of people. Thought Christians were a hateful cult back then. Yeah, that would, I guess, be the broader, more generalized way of wording what I was thinking. Man, some of the stuff I've seen lately has me really wanting to call some people out on, you know, conflating, I guess would be the proper word, their politics and their faith. Especially here in the U.S., good grief. And what's crazy is a lot of the people that saw the Republican National Convention lately and acknowledged that there were things that they did there that are, like, completely not in their conservative Christian set of values, but still none of them have outright said, I'm not going to vote Republican anymore. That was your whole shtick, your whole reason for a lot of them to not vote Democrat, was because you thought the Republican Party was going to, you know, fit the conservative Christian values that you hold to. Now that they're not in line with that, I don't get it. Clearly you have other reasons, but that clearly wasn't, you know, a strong enough reason to where that was the well, I don't know. Maybe it was primary, but it clearly wasn't the only reason keeping those people from voting Democrat. Choose not to vote according to a party, but according to a politician's voting history. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm partial to a particular party either. It's like, I look more at, okay, what are the values being presented? What's their actual platform? What do they say they're going to get done? And, to some effect also, how do they carry themselves? Do they actually have the look of, and the attitude of somebody who should be leading us? And, like, when it came to the last U.S. presidential election, I voted almost split with all the different, you know, local and federal seats that were available, local, state, and federal seats that were available. If you counted up the totals of how I voted, everything combined, I was almost completely split between Democrat and Republican. I can honestly understand that not voting to a party you voted for your whole life. Here in the UK, I always voted Labour, But I refuse to vote for them this time. Prime Minister is misogynistic, that has gone so far left, the brain rot has set in. Yeah, and that's part of it, right? Like I said, I look at, the values that they present, the platform that they have, what they say they're going to do, and I try to focus primarily on that. I'm probably not totally perfect at being unbiased with some of that, but that I try to leave that as my main determining factor. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I forget the exact counts, but I'm pretty sure I had, in the last presidential election, which I didn't vote midterms, some people might think, I should have. But, work situation was different. I was less able to do so. But anywho, last presidential election, I think it was pretty much, I voted, 16 people who were Republican and then, 17 who were Democrat for various positions. Again, going across local, state, and federal. But yeah, I'm definitely not into all the party politics of recent years. That's the main thing that's gotten us in the mess that we're in the first place. Politically, is just pretty much nothing but playing the blame game and name-calling and... the parties barely even have actual platforms anymore. It's just, hey, we're not them. We're not going to do what they do. So, yeah. And then there's all the drama about the recent assassination attempt, which... oh boy. That didn't take long before it became an absolute frenzy of conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. Conspiracy theories, I should say. Anyway, maybe while this next ad break goes, I can catch up on other chat comments. As far as my views go, I'm pretty liberal in the sane sense. Yeah. As the left went so far, it pushed me more over the line of liberal and into neutral. The conservative-leaning people make way more sense than them. Had to really reward that one. So, their tweet about not liking the word woke to honestly, I'm ashamed of the LGBT community for how they've gotten distanced myself from it. 3 letters on that, and I don't want anything to do with the majority of them. That image of Trump is a powerful one. One of him raising his fist in the air. Yeah, it still seems a little odd, though, for the setting and the situation. I guess, let's have this man, head exposed, fist in the air, when there has recently been a sniper situation. Makes perfect sense. Oh yeah, totally. Nothing bad could come from that. but I try not to be so cynical that I go all the way to turning that into conspiracy. I'm gonna wait till the ad break's done to add any further comments on that matter, which should only be a few more seconds here. But yeah, like, that's... So as far as diversity hires go, yeah, like, that never... The point was never, hey, we just want to be more diverse. It was supposed to be, hey, let's make sure we're giving people equal opportunities. But then, you know, as things tend to, it kind of got twisted and people started going beyond, in some cases, what it was intended for. Happens with a lot of things. Still not getting those ads, Owl. Interesting. And it doesn't even say that you're subbed or anything, right? I just... Oh well. Not arguing with it, just confused. Also, I'm realizing this job is actually probably going to take a fair bit of time. Not that I absolutely don't have that time to spare, though. This will for sure, if I complete this, be the last thing in the stream, though, for me. Not subbed. Did get an ad a couple seconds after I joined. Yeah, so... I had a... Like, it literally tells me when there's supposed to be an ad break rolling. And yet, pretty much any of those times, you say you've never gotten an ad. Oh well. That's, less of a problem than the issues I've been having recently with TikTok. For some reason, ever since a few weeks ago, like, practically every video that I post there, shortly after posting, it says that they, you know, adjusted statistics for it or whatever, and invariably, those videos have not been doing as well as, you know, other ones that I've posted somewhat recently. Like, I was at a clip there where pretty much any gaming-related video that I posted on there was getting, like, around 600 views. And any of the Bible stuff was getting, like, 200-something. Now, for the past couple of weeks, the Bible videos are still generally getting, like, 200-something. But the gaming ones are, like, barely even scratching triple digits. So, I don't... Like, pardon me for being a little suspicious, but, like, that shouldn't just randomly happen like that. It's not like there's any major quality difference in the videos that I'm posting. Especially not the gaming ones. I don't understand it. And then I went and made a tweet about the one video performing poorly. And wouldn't you know it, within like a week later, it went from saying it had like 7 views to over 600 again. Of course, that one showed at one point, before it was really low, that it had like a few hundred views. So like, I don't know what's going on with the stuff. Either TikTok's lying to me, or there's something screwy going on with the algorithm. Either way, it doesn't really make much sense to me. Yeah, honestly, the only reason I use TikTok is for, you know, posting my own video content. I do watch stuff on there now, yes, but the only reason I got TikTok, I should say, was to post my own video content. And like, I don't know, it's nowadays the word algorithm has become so like nebulous and like pretty much just okay, we don't really know what exactly is going on here or why stuff is being prioritized or deprioritized the way that it is, so we can't really give you a solution on how to make it better. And people who pretend to understand any of the given algorithms, like, time after time, they have to adjust what they're saying because, you know, something they suggested doesn't work, or I don't know, it's all sorts of confusing. Like, there's a YouTube channel that's supposed to pretty much be a lot of that kind of stuff, like how to get your videos to more viewers, how to take advantage of the algorithm to get more viewers. And yet they keep, like, probably on a monthly basis posting a new video about basically that same thing. Like, here's the best way to crack the algorithm, or whatever. If they really knew, I wouldn't think they'd have to keep posting new videos saying that. Or it's just because that's the only thing that they do. And they keep, like, just honing in on ever so slightly different things. But I don't know. Anyway. That's why there's... I mean, yes, I realize there are certain things that pretty much on the whole you can be fairly certain will make something do better than another thing. Like, you know, thumbnails, or maybe editing techniques to help keep people's attention and other things like that. But aside from that, I'm not sure much of anybody actually knows what they're talking about, and I'm not gonna... Yeah. I mean, so by definition, an algorithm is essentially supposed to be a systematic way of prioritizing things. Usually when it comes to social media stuff, a way of prioritizing things for individual people so that they will supposedly get more of what they want to see. But it's usually a complex system of like, alright, well, how recently have they viewed stuff like this? How much and how often have they viewed stuff like this? And, you know, just all sorts of minor factors like that coming together. Why did it seem like I didn't actually run there? I was trying to run to then jump to the other platform here. Okay. And I see no dirt on this part of the platform. Okay, well there's that one, but what about this one? This is the one I was actually trying to get. There we go. Okay. Is that why I've gotten a lot of videos on YouTube suggested GTA Online? Yeah. Yeah, so basically, because YouTube sees that you're watching GTA Online role-playing stuff, they want to try and suggest other similar stuff to you. In this case, about GTA Online role-playing. Or maybe other things that are at least slightly related. Like, for me, I can't even imagine what the algorithm is trying to suggest for me anymore, because I pretty much do not watch anything from the homepage, ever. All I do is go into my subscribed channels feed and go down the list to whatever I have watched, you know, however far back the most recent thing I watched is, and then just continue working from that point in the past to the present within that feed. And that's the thing, like, everybody just talks about getting your stuff on the homepage, and while, yes, that attracts new viewers and that helps, nobody that I hear talking about YouTube or any social media stuff and how to try and make it work, nobody ever seems to talk anymore about how to get, or like, you know, how to, as a viewer, continue helping, promoting, watching stuff from a particular creator. But, like, some people want to support specific creators, so how come nobody gonna talk about that? Shoot, maybe I should redo a video that I did on that matter a couple years ago. I forget exactly how long it was. I literally made a video specifically of like, hey, if you want to not worry about what the algorithm is putting in front of you, here's how to just basically circumvent that. And my suggestion pretty much was, okay, go to your subscribed channels and, you know, view stuff from there. Or go to a particular channel directly and watch their videos from there. Or whatever like that. I also suggested not having the autoplay feature on, because sometimes that'll just suggest the most random flippin' stuff that is only tangentially related to what you were watching before. It's also how a lot of kids watching YouTube end up at videos that generally aren't great for them. Because they'll start off watching something totally fine and innocent, but then YouTube just automatically moves them to another video that is not really so much what they were watching, and is sometimes not even great for their age group. But nope, all anybody talks about anymore is the algorithm. Which I understand to some effect, because, yes, you want to pull new viewers in. But that's not, like, the only thing that there is. Anywho. Don't know how this guy turned up. I was randomly scrolling, saw one of his videos popped up, pulled a what the heck, clicked on it, laughed, saw a couple more, caught one of his live streams. Yeah, that's generally what the algorithm wants to try to do. Other than maybe the what the heck part of it. It wants to give you stuff that you're like, ooh, hey, this looks kind of interesting. Let me click on that. And then you watch a certain video, you enjoy it, you watch more stuff from that same person, or similar types of things from other people. But therein lies sort of the problem with the whole algorithm focus and design, is that, like, its intent is to keep you going on the same kind of stuff, because that's what it thinks you want. It's like these algorithms, I mean, nowadays they might basically be AI, but before AI was a big thing, it was more so like just one step shy of being AI. But the problem is, if it only ever promotes the same kind of thing, and all you ever do is watch what it suggests for you, then all you're ever watching is the same kind of thing. So, that actually kind of circles back in a way to some of the political stuff, because if people watch a certain kind of thing, then they, are on these platforms that suggest more of the same kind of thing for them, so then they get watching the same kind of stuff with the same opinions, and they get stuck in that same pattern of thinking, in the same reasoning, and, like, it gets to the point where they figure that's just all that there is, because that's all that they've seen. But, anyway. No need to get too riled up on that stuff again. Kind of does, but it also doesn't. Watch a few trans YouTubers who do have a more conservative or not woke view. Enjoy their content. Every once in a while it throws up some extreme liberal ones that I don't like at all. Yeah, but that's the thing. These algorithms are not always the best at guessing which aspect of it that you liked. So occasionally they'll throw one up there that's like, oh, are you, just interested in watching things from trans folks? Here you go. When actually it's like, okay, no, it's not just because they're trans, it's because, you know, I thought they had, you know, interesting thoughts or whatever related to this subject, and it's, no. Don't just throw any old person that's in the same very broad category at me. But I guess that's occasionally how it might attempt to get you to branch out a little bit. It'll give you something that's sort of closely related, but slightly different. But it doesn't know how slightly different you're willing to go. And sometimes I think it throws stuff out there just to try and get you to branch out a little bit. I don't know. Or maybe because something that's tangentially related to what you like is popular with other people, and they figure, hey, you might want to watch this too, because it's kind of popular. You want to watch what other people are watching, right? I like their content, their view on the craziness. They actually react and discuss topics that I do care about. Not just screeching like a lunatic into the camera. Yeah. And that's part of it with the algorithm emphasis. It takes the focus off of the people and puts it onto the topics and or just the content as a whole. When really what got platforms like YouTube started was the people. And generally, those that stick around for any particular channel for any significant length of time, that's why they're sticking around. It's for the, you know, personality or, you know, the way that they just talk about things. And but yeah, like the way people talk about algorithms and stuff, especially related to YouTube and the like, and you know, as if it's this almighty, unconquerable, so you have to bend to its will sort of thing. It's like it has taken away the humanity from what people do and think about their content. Now, of course, the better ones will be sure to tell you, oh, you know, make sure you do stuff that you enjoy that's not going to make you feel dead inside, but, you know, you got to tweak it a little bit to fit, you know, factors X, Y, Z, and whatever. I have no clue who's calling me right now. I'll just let that go. If it's really important, they'll call again, and then maybe I'll pick up. Wow, this thing's tall. Extension. But eventually I'm going to have to, like, actually get up high, probably on a ladder or something, to get all that. Especially if it wants me to go on top of all that. Wait, this is an obstacle course. Shouldn't there be some sort of way to physically, like, jump and climb and get through all the stuff that way? That's the point of an obstacle course. Wish it would stop showing me doll customization videos and channels, though. Don't do that stuff, just like watching videos where collectors talk about finding accessories. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, none of this algorithm stuff is ever quite perfect all the time for getting people what they really want. Okay, I did also get a text message, I think, just a few seconds ago. And it might be from the same number that was just trying to call me. So, perhaps I should at least take a look at that. It's also, if I'm honest, getting within that time frame where I would maybe end the stream. Hang on a sec. I'm sure you see if the... Okay. Alright, that's a number I might want to save. Details. There we go. Okay. Well, since I know what that was, and it's not actually anything like super duper urgent, I can keep going for a little bit. Hello. Yes, can I put the ladder here, please? I would like to go up there. Where can I put myself that you will allow me to, there we go. Okay. Not interested in videos of talking doll just for the face mold. Hacking all the hair off. Ripping. Yeah, Oh my gosh, that sounds like the doll equivalent of, like, some of the quote-unquote food crimes that people will go and do, where it's like, oh, hey, this recipe seems great. I'm gonna change this, you know, to what I think is my liking. And then sometimes complain that it's not up to my standards of things that I like. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you follow the recipe? No. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be complaining about how it's not great, because you changed it. It's not supposed to be that way. But I realize that's a bit of a different subject. Yeah, I think I've come to find somewhat recently that the weirder people out there are the ones who, like, talk so much about how much other people are weird. It's just kind of a... It's also kind of a narrow-mindedness, too, that... Like, if they really... If it really bothers them that much how different these other people are, then clearly, like, they don't really appreciate the broader scope of whatever their interest or topic is. They just like their little subsection of it. And shouldn't expect anybody else to cater to what they think. And yet they do. It's exactly like that. How am I supposed to get this part clean? I guess maybe I just needed to back up slightly. That's still not quite the right angle. Now, don't be trying this at home, kids. Jumping up and down on a ladder is dangerous. I don't know why I felt like throwing that tone of voice in there. Other than just, you know, generic, or stereotypical, I guess I should say, like, safety PSA kind of voice. That kind of makes me think of Fallout a little bit. Man, and I'm not even 50% done with this. How long have I been working on this job? Feels like it's been more than just a little while. Of course, a lot of it was that the previous job was just so much. Where is there still dirt on this? Ah. I'm trying to get to about 50% before I really consider calling it a night. I've still got a little time to spare, so it's not that much of an issue. For me to keep going a little bit. Okay, there's that stuff. At least some of it. Where is there still dirt on this box? There we go. Okay. I think I was already up there. I guess that'll be the next thing. But first, let me make sure that I get the, like, side trim stuff. And I still didn't completely get some of the boxes there for that part of the obstacle course, but oh well. This is why it's a good thing that you could save your progress in a job. So then I should be able to come back to this next week. Or whenever I do this again. By the way, Owl, I forget, were you here back a few weeks ago when I was looking for suggestions of, like, community games? I don't know if you're even one who does a whole lot of multiplayer stuff, but just been wondering about some possibilities for things to play with some viewers. On occasion, at least. I tend to think of my stuff as generally more either story-driven or just, like, you know, leaving space open to talk about stuff. But might be nice every once in a while to do something together. Full disclosure, can't even remember what I ate yesterday. Might have been there. Well, the only real notes I took on possible community games were somebody suggested Minecraft, Fall Guys was brought up, and then I mentioned that PowerWash Simulator also has multiplayer. But yeah, on the whole, I totally get if you're not even generally a, like, multiplayer gamer. There's the vast majority of time that I have spent gaming has been single player stuff, which is probably why I generally lean more towards those types of games and kind of, you know, focus more on story experiences and whatnot. And that's the people I would think I generally would appeal to and even, like, want to appeal to. But at the same time, maybe offer some opportunity for those who play a lot of single player but maybe occasionally want some multiplayer to have people to, you know, do stuff with. Don't play multiplayer games at all. That's, yeah, no, totally fine. Like I said, I know I am one who has played a lot of single player and would maybe occasionally like some opportunities for multiplayer. And I figure I'm probably not the only one, so every once in a while, maybe, I don't know, maybe even just on, like, a monthly basis or something, have something like that for people. Don't have the access to do stuff like that. Don't have Switch Online or whatever the PS4 version of that is. Yeah, that would be like the PlayStation Network, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the equivalent of, you know, like Xbox Live, like I have. Anyway, just I thought that I would, or I thought I would put that thought out there. Bit of an odd sentence, but anyway. Okay. I think I have progressed enough. I've got about an hour and a half before I'm thinking I want to get some shut-eye. So I'm not too tired for tomorrow. I will save my progress here. We can pick that back up next week. Probably not going to do a review at the top of it next week. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, whatever. Okay then. Sorry. Still a little thirsty there, though. So I think that's about going to do it for me. I appreciate everybody watching. Owl, Samus, if you're still there. Any other people who might be around. I'm trying to figure out somebody to raid. But yeah. As always, feel free to check my YouTube videos and stuff in between streams. It's probably a little late in the stream to try and link the Discord server, but I have one. And then, yeah. Otherwise, I hope to see y'all for another stream sometime fairly soon. Okay, I have an idea of a raid target. It's a person I believe I have not raided before. I follow them, though, so I don't know. We'll give it a shot. This person is more the VTuber style. They've got their stream tagged as Christian and anime. I figure those are somewhat fitting of our general audience. Anyway, all right. So that's going to do it for me. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another stream or whatever it happens to be. But in any case, till next time, stay cool, everybody.